we come to this place for magic. We listen to the Brown Boy Wonders podcast to laugh, to cry, to care. Because we need that. All of us. That indescribable feeling we get when we click the play button and we go somewhere we've never been before. Not just entertained, but somehow reborn together. Having dazzling guests on this great audio platform. Sound that I can feel. Somehow, heartbreak feels good in a place like this. Our heroes feel like the best parts of us, and stories feel perfect and powerful. Because here they are. Brown Boy Wonders podcast. We make podcasting better.
Welcome to the Brown Boy Wonder podcast. In today's episode is the part 2 of the tier list of non-MCU movies. Of course, Deadpool 3, is coming out, so let's do our part 2. But let me introduce my guests here. Let's see, where are my guests here? Okay. You should know him as Eddie Brock. It's Anthony. Anthony, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Edward Brock Jr. is one of the best characters that could possibly be around.
You damn right. Then my next guest here, he's known as Michael Morbius. I'm talking about Skyler. Skyler, how are you doing today?
No, do another one.
Don't give him the one you were gonna give me.
Oh shit. You should know my next guest here. He is Jay from Men in Black. It's Skyler. Skyler, how are you doing today?
All right, that's fine. I'm okay. Good. I'm doing good.
Good. My last guest here, you should know him by Wade Wilson. It's Daniel. Daniel, how are you doing today?
I was the first one here, but the last introduced, and I'm offended by that.
Classic Deadpool.
Oh, there you go.
Classic me.
All right, so we did part 1. Now let's do part 2, and we're starting off with the 2007 Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, what a film. It's like a nothing. It's really inoffensive. It's kind of fun, I guess, but it's like an hour and a half of superhero nonsense. I don't think it's worth anyone's time unless you just need to see the Thing again, like a C or a D.
It is the quintessential Marvel movie shown on FX at 3 in the afternoon.
Mm-hmm,
Absolutely.
There's a certain flavor of Marvel movies that are like this was made for television, not the theater, and this is one of them. It's okay. It's
not bad.
No, I feel like when people talk about this movie, they're always like, "Oh, that scene where Johnny Storm chases the Silver Surfer is really cool," and it's cool, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some laughs. I still like the cast for the most part. It is fine.
Do we know who played the surfer?
Yeah, 2 people.
The voice is what's his
Harry
name?
White.
Yeah.
It was Lawrence Fishburne, and the body was Doug Jones.
Yeah, voice was Larry, and the body was Abe Sapien.
Was he?
Skyler's still waking up, so we gotta have to help him out.
Was he that
Absolutely.
that jacked? Was Abe Sapien rocking those abs, or what? I mean, I know he was a CG monster man. Was he just like in a green ball suit and they painted over him with abs?
Doug Jones is the Slender Man, like in real life. He's a big spindly. I love you, Doug.
He'll never hear this.
He will. He'll find me.
I don't even know if Abe Sapien's got ears.
It was like a bodysuit, it was because he's just like a silver man they painted over. So like on set, it almost looked like a silver, like a Batman. You know how Batman has like the black rubber suit? It's like that, but silver.
Well, there's the part where he stops glowing and he literally just looks rubber in the movie.
I also don't care for this movie. I was gonna give it a D, and then I remembered that bit where Silver Surfer like flips upside down on his board by melting through it, and I was like, "That's pretty alright. Give it a C." That's where I'm at.
Wow.
No, what did we give the first Fantastic Four movie? Because I'd put it about the same.
Probably a C.
The C plus for Fantastic Four.
Give this one a C
This one's
minus.
probably just a C. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's not a D for me. More of a C.
There you go.
So the next one here is the 2007 Punisher Warzone.
This movie, people don't like
silence.
this movie, from what I understand. I think, like, critically, people do not like it. However, if you want to see a man get blowed up with a rocket launcher while doing parkour, then this is the movie for you. It's the kind of bonkers Punisher violence that I feel like people would enjoy. And I guess at the time they didn't, but I think that it is fun enough. If that's what you're going for. You're going there to see Punisher brutally kill people. I feel like that was the problem a lot of people had with the last Punisher. A little neutered. It's not that crazy violent that they wanted from the comics. So with this one, the title Warzone, it makes sense. It's going to be a bit more, I guess, wild
Goofy.
and crazy and goofy. Very, very goofy.
Yeah, this one's Looney Tunes violence, and I mean that in a good way. I do enjoy this movie. Rest in peace, Ray Stevenson.
Yeah.
In the movie, he punches through a guy's head like birthday cake, and it's pretty great.
He does, yeah. It's like a crazy B movie, but it's something they'd watch on like Best of the Worst for Red Letter Media. But it's a name brand Marvel movie, and I appreciate that. It's also a female director, which you can care about or not, I suppose. But like, it is kind of that staple of like a female directed superhero movie, and it's the most violent like nonsense movie you can imagine, which is kind of cool in a sense.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Well, I haven't seen the movie. I know like the wacky parts, but not seen it entirely. But what's your grade here for this one?
We gave the first Punisher a B, right? Well, not the Dolph Lundgren one, but we gave the first one that matters. We gave a B.
Yeah.
I feel like this has to be at least one tier below.
Yeah, I would call this one a C.
Same.
Fun C.
Fun. I'll put fun C.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
C, but like in italics.
The next one here is the 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I didn't care for this one.
Wild. This is a writer's strike film, first of all.
Yeah.
One of the most like blatant examples of, oh fuck, we gotta finish the script before we have to shut down everything. And so we shoot that. This movie also leaked early. It famously got bootlegged with like partial special effects and everything, and that came out before the movie came out. And I guess it was like the confirmation after X-Men 3 and now this, it was like, okay, yeah, we've kind of lost the plot. X-Men movies are no longer this like, oh yeah, there's like interesting things here. They're just superhero schlock movies now. And this is like the schlockiest movie ever made of its time. It's ridiculous. I mean, the whole end fight with Sabretooth and Wolverine fighting Deadpool, the part where Wolverine's fighting Gambit and he's like slashing away a fire escape, like
the worst shot in the entire movie. And that's saying something.
Awful. It's weird that his claws like worse in a film. That's the fourth time they've done Wolverine. Like,
yeah,
it's ridiculous. This is just a bad film. I think it sort of does peek over that like nonsense hill into becoming enjoyable because it's just so stupid. And there's some good moments here and there. I like the Blob, sure.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we would be better off without it existing.
You know what movie I would have rather seen is a movie made from the intro of it, where it's Logan and Sabretooth just going through the different famous American wars.
Sure, yeah.
That would have been so much more fun to see Wolverine in World War II.
Well, when Twitter is attempting to rewrite history and tell you like, oh, this movie might be cool, which doesn't happen a lot, but there are some people. That's what they're talking about is the intro.
That's the best part.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, but no, talking about the claws specifically.
Oh my god,
that scene in the bathroom. It's like Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, it's just the guns with the bullets in it. You're right.
Yeah, it's complete cartoon, and you could just see like the set rigged to fall apart as he's waving his empty hands around. It's insane. Yeah.
What?
Infamously, this movie was supposed to be part of like a prequel series, origin
Yeah.
series.
Oh,
the
yeah?
only one, yeah.
I love that. I mean, doing Wolverine, I guess, makes sense because in the X-Men trilogy, his past was always like shrouded in mystery, etc.
Hmm.
But then they were like, and then our next one is Magneto. It's like, well, we saw his. We get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, fine. We're doing the whole X-Men then. Fuck you.
Oh,
It's like,
yeah,
all
and
right,
then
then.
yeah, that gave birth to a movie we'll talk about in a minute.
I do love the shot where the helicopter explodes and then you see him walking.
The cool guys don't look at explosions. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that.
The epitome
well,
of.
I like that in the trailer.
Let's talk about something very important about Wolverine in this movie. His hair.
They didn't do Wolverine hair.
They
Yeah.
didn't.
No.
They just took a big old hair dryer and blew it back. Like they didn't even try to Wolverine him at all.
We don't even get to learn how he got it. That would have, at least been an origin thing of like how he got his
Oh,
haircut.
yeah.
He had to earn his hair.
Yeah, like a big old saw blade goes, and it's like off the top of his head.
They could have. Deadpool could have like lasered his top of his hair off.
Yeah.
They weren't thinking. But Will.i.am is in there.
Will.i.am is in there.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
a
Mystery
character that
Mind.
they were very lucky that happened to exist, I guess.
There's a special place in hell for what we did. Yeah, it's great.
So yeah, this movie sucks,
Yes.
but it's fun to watch.
Yes. I would give it a D.
Yeah, probably. That sounds right to me.
I'll go with D.
Sounds good.
All right. The next one here is the 2009's Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance.
I did not see this film. I remember it being weird because like we were on the cusp of like the MCU when all these things were already happening, and so I thought it was weird that like Ghost Rider was still a thing. But no, I didn't see
Yeah.
it.
That's something to mention is 2008 is when the MCU kicked off. I mean,
Yeah.
we weren't really aware of what a cinematic universe could be at that point.
Mhm.
So we didn't really start to feel it until a little bit later. But yeah, everything going forward is the MCU is also running concurrently. And I have watched this movie like twice, and both times like my brain just starts to shut down. Like I can't really register what's happening. And that's not even to say that it's like the worst movie on this list. It's bad. It's not
But it's-
great.
But we don't care for it.
No, it's just not. It's not very interesting.
It's not.
Idris Elba's in it.
Yes, I love that. I love him in it. But other than that, nah.
That's about all I can say.
This movie did not come out in 2009. This comes out in 2011, which is still true. It's just listed wrong on the list. That's all I'm going to say.
Abrar.
I apologize.
You lied
still-
to me.
Okay, yeah. All right. So we're talking the same year as all these other movies that we're about to talk about. But yeah, it's a little weird. I just noticed that.
Oops.
I
Well,
was sitting here
like I
thinking,
said,
there's no way it was 2009.
yeah, I was looking at him like, I guess I'll accept it. But no, so it's 2011?
Yeah, 2011 film.
Okay, so apologize, Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance fans out there.
All our words
Yeah.
remain the same. We still don't remember the film. It still sucks. Whatever.
All two of the Spirit of Vengeance fans, neither of which are listening to the episode, punching the air because we got the year wrong.
Yeah. He like pisses in the movie, right?
You did,
Is
yeah.
this the one where
he-
he
he's
talks
fire.
about piss and fire?
Yeah, he pees fire.
That was one of
Okay.
the yeah.
There's a
You
You
kid.
know what? Bump it up.
D plus.
No.
No.
No,
An
just
F?
D.
Yeah, just an F.
Okay, an F.
I got bumped up from an E.
I
Ooh.
forgot how. Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, the first Ghost Rider was a C. We gave that for that one. Okay. The next one is 2011, because I remember. Is the X-Men First Class.
I like this one. I don't know if it's like a great movie, but I enjoyed it a lot. It's got some dumb things because I'm there's the, hey, we killed the guy whose whole thing is he can't be killed, and then like, some other goofball shit like that. But I had fun with this. I remember watching this at this time being kind of done with the original X-Men thing, probably because of Wolverine, and being like, oh, I'm glad that they're doing something different. And then later when they folded them back in together, I was like, I wish you hadn't done that. But I like this one.
I loved the trailer for this movie. Remember that?
Yes, I do. It was like
Yeah.
before he was Professor X, he was Charles. Before he was Magneto, he was Eric. Yeah, I remember that.
I guess it's just the part with the submarine and the music with that bass line was cool.
Yeah.
I like this movie not as much as a lot of people. I think this one, there's a chunk of people that are like, this is the best X-Men movie, and I don't think that's true. But
The best.
I think it's the best of those, of like these three, like of this sub series.
Well, I think there's one better than this.
yeah, I think
We'll get to it.
Which bad one are you talking about? I'm just kidding. I don't know which one you're talking about.
Oh,
We'll get to it.
We'll get to it.
I think the strength.
It better
of
not
this,
be Apocalypse, or I swear on God.
it ain't gonna be Apocalypse. I think the strength of this movie comes from our two leads, though the boys, the fellas, the lads.
Banshee.
James.
Yeah,
And Havoc.
Banshee and Darwin. No, Magneto and Charles. They're great in this.
Yeah, they're kind of like the only good thing in my opinion. I think this movie's all right. I enjoy it for what it is. I think it was a step in the right direction. Like you said, I think it does get hailed as like one of the best ever, and it's like I think I don't think it does enough with its 60s setting. Personally, I don't think it fleshes out any of the other characters besides Charles and Eric. But those two characters are really good, and the Magneto theme is really good. So I appreciate that.
Jennifer Lawrence, though, she is not a good Mystique, and I don't think she ever was a good Mystique. And this might be,
but at least in this one, they could still convince her to wear the paint.
yeah, for like one scene.
Painted. She's painted in this.
Oh well, she's fully painted in one scene, and then she has her face painted a bunch, I guess. Yeah.
Listen, we'll get to a film that's almost a decade later where we can talk about the lack of paint. But
yeah,
she's a full bodysuit.
Progressively cares less and less and less as we go on. But
Kevin Bacon was the villain in his movie, and I thought he did great as well.
Yeah, he's fun.
Yeah. If I have to grade it, this is like, first class, new cast. I don't know what to expect. I remember watching this movie. I thought it was still a good movie. I would give it a. I'll give it like a B or a C.
I would say B.
I think B's safe.
It continues the trend of X-Men movies American washing their cast of characters. We get both Banshee and Moira McTaggart in this film, and they both do not have their accents. So that makes it the graded B in my opinion.
Gotcha, all right. X-Men First Class is a B. The next one here is the 2012 The Amazing Spider-Man.
This one wasn't great, but I think it was fine. Like, I don't hate this one as much as I think a lot of people do. It's still not good, but I do think the chemistry between the leads is good. The Lizard looks okay sometimes, I guess. I don't know, dude. Like, it's not the end of the world. I think the Lizard's motivation is really stupid, where he's like, I want to turn everyone else into lizards, and they're like, why?
It's a very unnecessary film when you think about it, as in terms of like, we just had 3 Spider-Man movies. Do we need another one? And like, you could argue that never ended that problem. But you could say every movie is pointless, because why aren't you doing something that isn't making a superhero film? Sure. I think that at least this film, compared to its sequel and other films, at least has its own style. It may be aping off of successful things at the time, a la The Dark Knight or Twilight or whatever it may be, but at least it was trying to do something. It felt like the director, Mark Webb, had a vision, whether that was influenced or not. It was its own unique thing. And so I appreciate about that. Like this film, it's its own little thing. It's like the second film, which we'll get to, feels so not like this. And I almost feel like it's a separate thing. So yeah, I feel like I loved this when it came out, and then I hated it, and now I've reached this sort of indifference period where I don't hate it by any means, but if I'm like, oh, I'm gonna watch a Spider-Man movie, this is not on the top of the list.
Yeah, I think I followed a similar trajectory. I don't know if I ever hated this movie. I think it's one of those things where the sequel retroactively makes this movie worse, which happens a lot in series like this. But I think the hype for this movie when it came out was definitely carried by the fact that we had all just seen Avengers in theaters, and it was like, all right, 2012, this is the super dawn of the superhero era. We're here now. And the new Spider-Man's back, and he's doing stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. I have things to say, but I don't want to say them. I don't know if that makes sense. That makes for good content.
Jesus
I got
Christ. Okay.
I'll say this: when I saw this in theaters, I was hate watching. I was like, "Why is he a skater? This is not Tobey Maguire. Where am I?" And
This is
then
not the Abrar that I know. Hate watching a Spider-Man movie?
this one. I mean, because I love the original three, so I'm like, this is not for me, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm in a weird place with the Toby Andrew thing because I think Toby's better casting, but I think Andrew's a better actor, and I don't know how to rectify that in my heart.
It's tough.
Well, I don't necessarily disagree with the principle of what you're saying at all, but these movies didn't use
No.
Andrew's acting in a good way.
No, that's true. You're
That is
right.
that is kind of the thing. Is like any talks of like another one of these films like hurts my brain because like we have a very very poor track record at this point. The bad Sony Spider-Man films outweigh the good ones without interference or help from another party. Like the idea of visiting this universe again after the other
No.
films, it's like no, there's just nothing to return to. As good and interesting as little nuggets of ideas and pieces and things in this first film, that's all they are. They're just like this movie planted a bunch of seeds and then they burned down the farm. So like there's no returning. We can't go back. It's done.
It wasn't until when he showed up again in No Way Home where like Andrew's Spider-Man Peter Parker like made me smile,
Mm-hmm.
In the first one, he's incredibly socially awkward. And then in the second one, he's like, I'm cool. I don't give a crap. Whatever, guy. I'm going to swing in with my mask at graduation and kiss the girl in front of the crowd. Like, that's not Peter Parker either.
Yeah, not
No.
Spider-Man. That doesn't work for me.
But then, No Way Home, they decided to let him be like charismatic Andrew Garfield. And it's like, oh, where's this guy been?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know the chemistry between Andrew and Emma Stone. Yes, thank you. It's real. It's there. It's weird though.
Well, it gets weirder in the second film.
It does get weirder in the second
We'll
film.
address. It's I feel like it's more appropriate here. Good casting. Dennis Leary's in the film, so that's a plus.
Yeah, love Dennis
Mhm.
Leary.
I like the part where he's hiding, and then the dad says something about like a chocolate castle, or I don't remember, and he just pops up. And he's like, "Chocolate castle." It's a good bit. I like them making fun of each other.
I like Martin Sheen.
Oh yeah, he's
Martin Sheen,
Yeah.
President Kennedy, you idiot.
Huh?
C tier.
See,
All right.
Yeah,
I
probably.
can't grade it because I hate it. So you guys say C.
This is the first I'm hearing of this that
I
Abrar
don't
hates
think
this
I've heard the
movie.
word hate leave your mouth.
Well,
You guys don't remember high school because he was definitely like a Toby stan back in 2012.
that we know. Yeah, I know that.
Yeah.
All right, see it is. And I want to say shout out to the award-winning Rhino, Paul Giamatti.
That's the next one. What are you doing?
Like I said, I hate these movies. The next one here is a Marvel film, of course. We're talking about the 2012's Men in Black 3.
been a
This
while
is-
since I've seen this film.
It had
I watched
Josh
it
Brolin.
I watched it like 3 weeks
Thank you.
ago by pure coincidence.
Oh, well, then we'll ask you. How was it?
Yeah, this one's okay. It's better than the second one.
That's what I remember. It was better than the second one.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a Men in Black movie.
I thought the second one was the best. Like in their
Okay.
previous episode, but I
What
thought.
Abrar!
Remember the last episode? I said second one was. I thought the
That's
second
true.
one was
We've already
better.
had this fight.
Yeah.
I remember you reacting in a horrible way when we all were like, "Yeah, this one's not as good." You were losing it. But no, I do think 3. It has stronger moments. It's a bit more fun.
Mhm.
There's the ending bit, right? With
Mhm,
with
yeah.
little Willie. Yeah, that was a
Willie.
good part.
With Mike Coulter, Luke Cage.
Oh
there.
God, yeah. But yeah, like Josh Brolin's really great in it as a younger Tommy Lee Jones. Like that's really fun. So I like that about it.
Jermaine Clement is the bad guy. He's always fun
Jermaine.
to watch. He's a funny guy. Nicole Scherzinger's in the very beginning for some reason. That's funny.
These are all funny things about a funny movie.
Hey, if you're a fan of the Pussycat Dolls, pardon my language, then that matters to you. So
There we go. I thought it was okay. Not the best out of the 4.
I mean, Josh Brolin's impression of Tommy Lee Jones throughout the whole movie that
that's
makes
great.
it worth it.
No, that's great.
That's the price of admission right there.
But for me, I would just give it a C. I mean, maybe it's different for you guys, but I give it a C.
Okay, I don't remember what we gave Men in Black 2 or Men in Black 1. I'd put it
So-
in between those two.
So Men in Black 1 was an A. Men in Black
Okay.
2 was a C+.
All right, well, so make it a B, I guess.
Yeah, there you go.
I guess
B.
B.
All right. Men in Black 3 is a B. The next one here, it's a good one here. It's the 2013 The Wolverine.
Oh,
This is what I think is the best comic book movie of 2013.
Hmm.
That is my
What-
opinion.
What a year.
was
I
there
know.
another? What else was? Hold on. What else was 2013?
Iron Man
2013.
3.
Yeah, Iron Man 3, Man of Steel, and Thor: The Dark World.
It was tough competition.
I know, all right? It's an
No,
amazing
I mean-
fight.
The Wolverine does clear.
Truly, truly the best of the worst. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's better than those movies. I still didn't care for it much. I think it's like fine. There's a lot of it that's really stupid. I think I didn't care about the villain like at all. The whole scene where they're doing like the oh god, what's the folklore character who like takes Benkai, where they do like the Benkai scene where he takes like a million blows and then they like pin him down is
Mhm.
the one part of the movie where I was like, yeah, that's a cool use of that character in this setting. And everything else I was just like, sure, dude, he's doing another one.
I think we saw this together. Because I feel like I remember us coming out of the theater and you're like, yeah, I didn't really like it. And I was like, Daniel, I don't want to hear it.
That was our entire high school, to be fair. That was our
I-
entire relationship.
A little bit, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is not like a best movie ever. It's really kind of just another X-Men film. But I do have fun with the setting. I have fun with the character. It was the first time since X-Men 2 that I felt like something could happen to Wolverine. You know, when he's like facing
Yeah.
off against Jean Grey in X-Men 3 and he's like being atomized, but he's fine. Like that's
Yeah.
like nothing. But in this, he was like injured and bleeding and tired, and like I liked that about it. I liked how simple it was compared to the last few X-Men movies we had gotten. He was just in Japan protecting a girl, and then he fights a guy in a robot suit. So it gets a little wonky at the end. But for the
Yeah.
most part, I enjoyed how stripped down it was compared to the other films.
Yeah, I basically echo that sentiment. I look back on this movie fondly. It probably I would give it like I don't know, somewhere between a high C or a low B. That's what I would say.
I'm not against that. I think I'm more on the C side, but I think that's pretty accurate.
Well, then you better buy yourself a boat and go live in a lighthouse if you live in the seaside.
Damn it! I was trying to formulate something, and Skyler just said it. It was don't think, kids. Just say.
No
Just
filter,
just say while half asleep and or drunk.
just like the
Wow.
best cigarettes. No filter.
I
I'll agree. Somewhere between C and a B. Either one, I'm fine with.
I will go with a B because I love the cast, especially the Japanese actor. I forgot his name, but he's in The Last Samurai. He was Scorpion in the new Kombat movie. I love that actor. I can't
I
pronounce
was
his
about
name.
to ask name one of them because I knew you wouldn't be able to pronounce any of their
It's,
names.
it's a dad.
Yeah, no, I know the actor you're talking about. I actually have his name pulled up here, but as you've noted, I'm not very cognitive right now, so I'm not going to attempt because he's a very long name.
Yeah, I love him. I believe he's one of the great Japanese actors in my time.
Hiroyuki Sanada.
There we go. That's him. That is Scorpion right there. He is great in this film. Wolverine's great, especially the nuclear bomb in the beginning of the movie. You just see him in like pretty much like shredded. This movie was great. I love it. I'll give it a B.
You guys
I feel
remember?
like you just said a whole bunch of stuff, and they were like, "But also."
You guys remember like the guy in the background of that one scene wearing a Spider-Man hat?
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
remember that.
That.
Yeah.
No.
Well, yeah. Well, you don't remember the fun details, like guy in
am I gonna
Spider-Man hat.
remember- Look, if you're adding points for Spider-Man hat in background, this is a different tier list than
No,
I
it
thought
was
it
Did I
was.
say I was giving it a point for that? We were done. It gotta be. I was just saying, like, we were watching in the theater, 2013, all these separate Marvel universes, and I was like, why has that guy got a Spider-Man hat?
Yeah, it was bizarre. It was like, what's happening? You're right, because it was like we don't know what the future was for Marvel at that point. They were all
Yeah.
just doing their own thing.
This is like you're getting people photoshopping Andrew Garfield into set photos of Avengers movies, and you're like,
Mhm.
that's not real.
And then we were really confused with next year's after credit scene. So we'll get into that.
Oh yes. All right, so we're giving the Wolverine a B. The next one here. All right.
Bet.
It's the 2014 The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Everything about this movie is wrong.
It's the worst Spider-Man movie by
Yes.
far. I don't care what anyone says.
I do love Jamie Foxx
In general,
in general,
in general.
but this,
outside of this movie, sure.
in this, get out of town, man. Happy birthday to Max. No.
I like that. I like that the eels fix his teeth. Love that bit. Very
True,
good.
True.
Otherwise, what are we doing? What's happening?
My favorite thing is the deleted scene about his mother living with him, and you can still see his mom in the background of that one scene where he's pulling out his little Electro birthday cake.
Yeah, deleted mom. That's true. Yeah, no, this movie is everything about it is awful. It's a nightmare world.
The version of Electro that shows up in No Way Home, that dude does not live with his mom. That dude
It's a
killed his
different
mom.
guy. It is 100% a different guy. He got his atoms got fucking organized in his body. And it turned him
Molecules
into
got
Jamie Foxx.
rearranged.
Exactly. Yeah, like that classic Butch Hartman cartoon.
I feel like if we had just done either Electro or Green Goblin, maybe we could have given enough time to one of them that I cared, but I didn't. I came out the other end of this movie and I was like, wow, both of these people's potentially careers are damaged by this.
This movie came out the other end of a butt because it's a poop.
It's true. Amy Pascal's butt.
I will say some positives for this movie. There's the emotion scene of Emma Stone, Glenn Stacy, pretty much that scene where
Yeah. I
she
feel
died,
like
went to the cemetery.
yeah, I don't know about the cemetery part per se. But in that moment when she smacks her little head against the concrete,
Mhm.
I think I mean, how much of the shock was they actually did it versus
Yeah, I was shocked.
versus like it being impactful right for the nothing in this movie was right for the story, right?
Yeah,
But,
no.
No.
I feel like, in that moment in the theaters watching it, I did like sit forward and you hear that thud, but
Mhm.
like, is it because it's impactful or is it because like the entire reason people bought their tickets for this movie was to see if they did it? Because in all the promo material, she's wearing like the outfit she died on, like there's like the clock that's like set to the time that is the issue that she died in. Like they're just like,
bad.
we're gonna kill her, we're gonna kill her, we're gonna kill her, and then people go and they're like, oh shit, they killed her.
I remember my friend in Australia, Kirk. He had seen the film before us due to time zones, and we were just talking about it, and he just casually mentioned that Gwen Stacy dies in it, and he had a moment like,
Oh.
"Oh fuck!" I didn't notice. I'm like, I know it happens. Like what you told me, like I didn't react like, "Oh my god, he just spoiled something in the movie." It was just like we knew it was gonna like everything was leading to this point. So when it happened, it was like, wow, I saw it. Yeah, like you said, dunk her head made of concrete, I guess. But it was just we all. This was like the first. It had happened before, but like this was the point that started like the meme of Sony just spoiling their movies, where like
Yeah.
Sony was the king
Yeah.
of bad trailers.
They put out so much, like such a high percentage of footage from this movie in their trailers and advertisements and stuff that like a large chunk of that percentage didn't even happen. They're like putting
True.
out deleted scenes in trailers.
Like very close to the release of the film, and then yeah, famously the last shot of the trailer is the last shot of the movie. You know, the teaser of a trailer, you know, making you go like, oh, I gotta see what happens next. I gotta buy my movie ticket. Well, if you buy your movie ticket, you don't get to see what happens next. From what we know in No Way Home, Andrew Garfield promptly killed the Rhino with a sewer like cover.
It's
And
funny
that's
because for years, since like that fight with the Rhino was the last thing we ever saw in this universe, I would always say like, well, I guess Spider-Man died. But
Yeah.
then
No.
No Way Home, as you said, it was like, no, Rhino died.
he stopped pulling
Andrew
his punches.
Garfield punched his head off.
that goofy Paul Giamatti doing a Russian accent with his underwear, showing the little rhinos on his pants. We had all those set photos. We saw a rhino. We saw him in the truck. We saw him out of the truck.
From a
Is this the
different
truck.
from a different kind of movie.
Oh my goodness, yeah, it's just it's so like try hard to be what the fans wanted. You know, you got the new suit, you got all these villains, you got all the thing. We're doing the death, blah, blah, blah. And it just ultimately amounts to a very big embarrassment that, in a way, cost Sony their universe and made them play nice with Disney and Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
Um,
A lesson they did not learn from since Disney pulled their ass out of the fire, and they've made a lot of money on that deal, so they've felt free to continue to make the same mistake over and over again. It's great. But
Well-
talking about the suit, not necessarily like a lot about the suit itself because we have a whole episode talking about Spider-Man suits.
we did.
But it does upset me. A cool thing about the first one was like how unique that suit was.
Yeah.
And then there's no evolution transition between that suit to this suit. He's just one day
Right.
decided to have a comic book Spider-Man accurate suit.
Yeah, if it had like little details that were similar, whether it was like the design of the belt or the gloves or something, right? Like, yeah, that would be interesting. Because I acknowledge that the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit was made out of the need to be different, and so they
Yeah.
went back on that. But it's just emblematic of the movie itself. It's like trying to be what you want it to be without any of the substance. You know, it's like we know you want this. It's like, okay, well, what about it? If you're gonna see, like, the first movie was so built on him making the suit and making it real, and it's like, well, what about this one? He just has a Hollywood suit. Sorry,
Yeah.
F.
Yeah.
Oh
It's-
yeah, I thought that goes without saying.
It's a F for me as well, Daniel. We might have a different opinion.
No.
Oh yeah, Daniel, do you?
No.
Oh,
F.
F, all right. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 as an F, and of course, you know, Andrew Garfield redeemed himself in No Way Home, where you catch Zendaya.
he redeemed himself in other movies first
For sure.
by being a good actor.
He's a good actor.
99 Homes.
Hatch, was it Ridge? That movie?
Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge. Yeah, that's a good movie. All right. The next one here is one of my favorites, one of all time here. It's the 2014 X-Men Days of Future Past.
You got to stop showing your hand before we actually talk about the movie.
Favorite.
That's
of
true.
all time. That can't be right.
Yeah, Daniel doesn't like this movie.
No, because it's
Well,
bad.
but we-
It's
Oh my-
awful.
Wait.
We all like this one.
Oh,
Yeah, absolutely. It is considered one of the best
Yeah.
X-Men films,
No,
arguably
you're-
the best.
you're- You're showing your ass right now.
It's not the best
Okay,
in
well,
my
I'm showing
opinion,
my ass
but
to
it's
three
up there.
people who are ass apparently, so
No,
I
no,
don't
no.
care.
No, Daniel, why do you not like this one?
Okay, so they do nothing with the future part of the storyline at all. They introduce like 6 characters, and then they're like, you know what? Actually, we're going to not use them. We're going to use these other characters that we've ham-shoed back in from the previous storyline because we gave up on this new potential universe that we created after like one movie because I don't know, it made $5 less or something. So we've just decided to throw in all the old characters again, even though we already ruined them in the previous movies. So we're just going to completely give up on that. I really didn't like the Mystique Sentinels at all. Like that was a choice and probably a poor one. Jesus, I don't know. Like I don't want to go on too long. There was one really cool scene at the end I remember that was in like the plastic gun in the what was that, like a baseball stadium or something. That was cool. Like it was a good emotional payoff to a bunch of nothing. So I don't know. I'd probably give it like a C. I don't think it's terrible, I guess, but I hate it.
All right, cool. So A.
No,
Yeah, we're
fucking
going.
absolutely.
We're going
I was gonna give it an S.
I mean,
You
I
guys
would
are
give it an
high
S,
on
honestly.
crack, dude.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd give it quite an S. We talked about last time that I guess I'm an asshole when it comes to giving out S's. Like X2 was an S, and Spider-Man 2 was an S, but this one's an A, I think.
A plus.
I'd be fine with an A at least. But I mean, it's the thing about this film. It's kind of funny thinking about it now, where nowadays it's all about like multiversal cameos and tying in nostalgia. And it's like this film did it back in 2014.
Yeah.
We already got this like. Shut up.
Did
You don't
really
get to talk
bad.
anymore. Abrar, mute him.
They were just like, here's the old cast again. Remember them
Kick him
from
from the
2
call.
seconds ago?
We get that great scene between the Charles and Charles, where they get to
Was
that
it related
interaction
to the
between
scene where he
themselves.
was doing drugs because he had given up on life?
Oh my goodness!
Probably because he had to be in this movie.
It's so great that whole line of like, I'm not using them to walk. I'm using them to sleep. I can barely get out sleep because all these voices are coming into his head, so he's got to suppress them. And it is an allegory for drugs. It's a bit heavy-handed whenever we see that shot of like the needle hitting the ground, but like it's seeing this character that is like we go on to see as the leader of the sort of mutant revolution in a way. Forced to join sides with his foe, and here he's at his lowest point. And it's like, well, how do we get him out of there? And it's interesting to see Wolverine, who was brought out like, he found him as a cage fighter, as a lonely guy, but he made him feel like a person again. So now it's Wolverine's job to do that with Charles. So I think it's a good balance with that stuff. I love it.
I think there's a lot of good character stuff, which makes it this X-Men series should have ended here. It should have because this is like it ties in. I mean, it's funny to say it ties in both series because the one half of the series was only one movie at this point. But just to tie it all together in like this nice character-driven thing of Professor X, I enjoy this movie.
Well, we get a happy ending. When in the previous universe, all these characters were dead, and there was all this like shattered pieces. But now, like, everyone's alive and they're in the mansion, and it's like we have this nice, warm universe where these characters can actually exist, which, it does feel like an ending. Obviously, there's another ending point in this series that we'll get to that's a bit more specific.
It definitely should have been the ending because the other two are definitively worse. Like, Apocalypse and Dark Phoenix are definitively the worst X-Men movies, I think, pretty well, I don't know, Last Stand was also pretty bad, but definitely worse than this. So I agree with that sentiment for sure.
Yeah, And a movie like this where people are like, "Oh, we're gonna bring back the whole cast," like You're No Way Home. This seems to be like the good go-to example. It is, that stuff is like nostalgia bait, but this one, I guess, could be seen as that. But it really plays more like this is a culmination of this series. Yeah, it's a series that's kind of been like dead or revived or fucked around with a bit. But this is the culmination of this series, so we are going to bring back characters, not as like cheap pops for the crowd, although that is just what comic book crowds were for a bit. But just to be able to see everyone's favorite players, kind of like whether it was small parts, because like Storm doesn't do anything in this movie. I mean, Storm doesn't do anything in a lot of the movies, but if you're going in being like, "Oh, I love Storm," I guess from the movie standpoint, my question is why.
Yeah.
that's a lot of the big players are the same big players we've had the entire time. Your Wolverine, your Professor X.
Well,
Yeah,
they use their strongest pieces. They use
Yeah.
the ones that work.
Well, because it didn't decide to be like a new X-Men movie. It decided to be a ribbon on top for the X-Men movies we've already had. So
Yeah,
that's why the main players are the same main players they always were.
I mean, there was higher stakes in this movie for sure. When I first saw this movie, when when the original cast was dying one by one in the beginning, I'm like, oh man, this is getting real. This is getting real. What am I watching? And history played itself. But for me, it's an S. You guys said it was an A.
You said S. Anthony said S. I said A, and Daniel said like F plus tier or something.
No, I said
don't know.
C.
I stopped listening.
I definitely said C.
So
The F would be as ridiculous as an S.
Wherever you guys decide to land it from there.
Yes, it is.
S.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like you're just doing an S out of spite.
A little bit.
That's what S stands for.
All right. X-Men Days of Future Past is an S. Woohoo!
All right. Let history forget your names.
The next one here is the 2015 Fantastic Four.
S tier.
I swear on God, I know where you live. This fucking movie came out on my birthday and ruined it.
Oh.
Oh,
This movie
yeah.
gets a T for Tim Heidecker.
Oh, it gets a 4.
Oh.
I mean,
This is
I've never,
Fantastic, right? There wasn't like a
Yeah,
secret another
no.
Fantastic Four movie I didn't know about.
No,
Okay.
no.
I've never seen this movie all the way through. The first
wow.
time I had seen it was like a bootleg online, and then the second time I saw it, I think we tried to watch it at Skyler's, and like Ray had never seen it before, so we're like, we're gonna watch Fantastic, and we got like 15 minutes in, and we're like, this is
Wait.
boring.
Wait, say that again?
What? Which part? All of it?
He's doing the meme.
I'm doing the thing.
The Miles Teller meme.
Yes, figure.
Boring.
Most punchable face in fucking Hollywood.
The Boring Four. Yeah, that's what it should have been called. Yeah, this is.
I do think
it's both a bad film and a Hollywood travesty in terms of like behind the scenes nonsense. So it's just bad all around.
This movie put the director Josh Trank in the Phantom Zone. He's gone because of
Not
this.
getting that limousine.
Oh, Butterfingers.
I do think this movie, much like the first Fantastic Four movie, had very good casting for Human Torch specifically. I think Michael B. Jordan could have done a really great job in a different movie, but as the same character, if that makes sense. Yeah. And that's really like kind of the only positive I have. I remember, I don't know if it ended up making to the movie or if it was like rumors beforehand, but they were like, Dr. Doom's going to be a gamer hacker or some shit.
That was like when a script or a fake script or a version of the script, I don't remember which one it was, but something leaked online, and he was like a big World of Warcraft nerd sending in his little drone robots to fight whatever.
The thing that did get changed in the movie was that he originally was called Victor Domashev because they thought Doom was too silly. They were going to use it as like a joke name. But then they did like an additional photography and then like 80 yard over like Victor Von Doom. it's very ridiculous.
I mean, Von Doom is a ridiculous name, but like you got to work in the space, man.
Yeah, so is the Fantastic Four. You know, it's like they're ridiculous. It's such a weird thing. It's like the idea of making the Fantastic Four into like a body horror kind of like awful experience. You know, you had that whole scene of them getting their powers. It's like a nightmare world, and it's like I get the idea. Like I understand what you're going for. You're taking this concept and you're spinning it and twisting it and doing all these things. But maybe you shouldn't with the Fantastic Four. Maybe that's just not necessary, right? It's like. It's like horror themed Mickey Mouse. Like we get it. The kid thing is now scary. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Move on.
That was kind of the time for it too, and like they still did it bad.
Maybe if Sam Raimi directed Fantastic Four, maybe it'd be like kind of like that. But
well, we saw his Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, we did.
Let's just talk about. It was kind of lightly touched on how wasted this cast is. I feel like this period of time was very bad for Miles Teller.
Yeah.
kind of gave him the rep with audiences that he fucking sucks.
When did when did Whiplash come out?
2016.
Before, I
No, it's
guess after
2014.
this.
It was 2014.
Before this,
Oh,
around this. Yeah, no, we've seen Miles Teller in multiple things where he's amazing, and Michael B. Jordan can be amazing, and Kate
Yeah.
Mara. I don't have anything to say about her, but Jamie Bell could be really good, and other like bit players that show up in this. Tim Blake Nelson, wasted.
As
Randy
the mole
Kelly
man.
as Franklin Storm, wasted. Didn't really do anything. Tim Heidecker, like I said, dude has one line. Why is he there?
This was the year where Tim
Well-
and Eric were in Marvel movies.
It was the
Or not Tim and Eric, the other
it
guy
was-
from the movie.
it was the On Cinema crew. It was Tim was in this one, and Greg was in Ant-Man, and
Oh,
that was the whole story arc on their show.
gotcha.
And let us not forget, not our boy, Abrar's boy, Chet Hanks is in this movie.
Oh, is he my guy?
That's
Wait,
that's
he's
your
in
guy.
this movie?
He's Ben Grimm's brother that slaps him over the head.
He says it's clobbering time and beats him.
He says it's my boy Summer, and he starts beating him.
Oh wow. Absolutely not, man. This movie is an F.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is lower than F. This is. We had a
F
Shadow
minus?
Realm for
Yeah,
the
we
last
put, we
one.
put something into a Shadowlands. But I don't, it was Elektra. I don't, is this? It's
Yeah.
not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
Electra level. Dan Castellaneta's in this.
Yeah.
He's
yeah,
like,
that's true.
he's like, we're not doing magic, we're doing science or something. I don't know, like, dude, you're teaching fourth graders.
We gave Electra an F, but I'll just give it an F or F minus.
So sure. Yeah.
Right.
This also has one of my least favorite tropes in these movies, which is science man wants to do science and teacher tells him that he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
hate when that happens in movies because I have never in my life found a teacher who was like, "How dare you try and better yourself with science? How dare you try and learn?"
It happens.
Yeah, ridiculous.
All right. Just 2015, the Fantastic Four is an F minus. The next one here is the 2016 Deadpool.
I like it. This is funny. This is a funny one. This is,
I've never seen the whole thing. Once again, I
Really?
saw like a
Wow.
bootleg online, and that's about it. I can't get into the Deadpool character. I've tried. I've really tried. Honestly, guys, I've tried my darndest, and I just can't crack the egg. So
no, I'm actually with you on that. I don't think the character Deadpool is funny. I think this movie is funny. The second one not as much, but this one I enjoyed.
I can tell you that Brad Pitt is in the movie.
and the second one.
No, that's the second one.
That's the second
Oh my
Abrar.
goodness. I
Watch
Pay
these
apologize.
attention.
movies. You're a fraud.
I apologize.
I like this movie. I like so far I like both Deadpool movies pretty all right. There is like this connotation that Deadpool's comedy is just like look at my balls. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of. And there is kind of an added annoyance that we talked about this last time when we talked about Blade Trinity, but Ryan Reynolds has just made this his persona.
Yeah, I hate Ryan Reynolds now. That's for sure because it's all the same thing.
No,
it's like
he's selling
cocky
Cricket
and
Wireless
attractive
or
and
whatever.
funny, and yeah, it's like I want my funny people to be like flawed and like hurt, and he doesn't come off as that. He's like
Yeah.
attractive and successful and funny, and it's like that's not. It's like remember Dane Cook. You guys remember Dane Cook? Like, he was hated because it was like he wouldn't talk about how horrible his life is. He would like punch down at people, and it's like, oh, that's not stand-up comedy. That doesn't work. And you can think whatever you want about Dane Cook, but it's that effect, and yeah, I think that affects my opinion of the film and the actor.
No, I think there's one version of Deadpool that works, and that like isn't overbearing, and it's not the 9,000 people at comic book conventions that
Oh my god.
will walk around with boom boxes dressed as Deadpool, and they'll like touch cosplay girls without their consent. No, it's not that. It's Ryan Reynolds became the version of Deadpool that doesn't suck. So that's, I mean, I guess that's what these movies are. And yeah, no, I think they're fun, both of them. I'm gonna basically have to say the same exact thing a couple movies from now.
Yeah, they're pretty on par.
It's one of the first rated R Marvel movies here, I believe.
Blade was forever ago.
Yeah, but in recent times,
in this era, yeah.
He's breaking the fourth wall. You don't see that as much in these movies.
Well, that's his thing.
Yeah, it is his thing.
You're just describing Deadpool.
I am.
He's got swords and a red outfit and cancer.
I like his outfit.
Bad at dying.
I like Deadpool's outfit. It's a shame.
Him and Colossus are fun in these movies.
Yeah. The storyline with X-Men in these Deadpool movies are funny.
This movie, I think this movie, and then to a lesser extent the next one, it does the best it can with like that no faith budget, you know, like this movie wasn't gonna happen, and then Ryan Reynolds did like an espionage and like leaked it online
and stole a bunch of money.
And they were like, "Well, I guess we have to do this now because people are saying they'll pay for it." And then, hey, people paid for it. But yeah, like the villain is kind of weak, and but that's not what people care about for this. People want to watch Deadpool be, you know, funny and cut dudes' heads off, and that's what this movie delivers.
Absolutely, man. For me, I'll just give it either a C or a low B.
Really?
I would lean towards B.
I'm at B. I'm surprised to hear that you're the one that's low on this.
For the record, just so we can speed through it faster, I think I would put Deadpool 2 about the same. I'd give that one a B as well.
Yeah. If this is a B, then I would put Deadpool like a B minus. Like I think it's a little bit worse, but not enough to matter.
Oh, I think Deadpool 2's better because it's got more fun, you know, actors, characters to play with.
No, you're thinking of Once Upon a Deadpool.
No, that's not real. You made that up.
No, I think they just re-released it around Christmas and called
No,
it.
I know. I'm just choosing to pretend it doesn't exist.
All right. Deadpool is a B. The next one here is the 2016 X-Men Apocalypse.
I swear, I was waiting for Abrar to say like, "This is my favorite. I love this one."
No, definitely
not.
No.
I love
it. This one, it's not like fully terrible. Like it's nowhere near Fantastic Four 2015.
Yeah,
and it's nowhere, but it's also like it being the next step after Days of Future Past. It's like, oh.
I like James McAvoy.
This movie kind of sucks, but I love it. It's great. It's like a big, perfect, dumb summer blockbuster. It does a lot of big things, takes a lot of big swings, and misses most of the time. However, I like the X-Men. So at the end, when the X-Men have Apocalypse and they're all shooting their powers at him real hard, and Magneto's doing the Magneto thing, and Cyclops is doing the Cyclops thing, and then Jean Grey uses the Phoenix Force that she's mastered in a weekend, and she blows him up, and he becomes a skeleton. I loved it. It was amazing. I loved it so much. And that's why I'm putting this movie at whatever you guys say, because I have such a blast with him. I can watch it at any time. It's great. Nightcrawler is in the film.
Yeah.
It's
if
good stuff.
If we're talking about the casting for this movie, Cyclops is great. Ty Sheridan. Nightcrawler is amazing in this movie. Well, yeah, Cody Smith McPhee, great as Nightcrawler. I think Sophie Turner as Jean Grey is kind of a letdown for me.
Also,
I just
she's
don't
not great at it.
Care for her.
She doesn't have like emotion.
She's one
I
of
don't
those.
know how else to describe it.
She's one of those actresses or actors, anybody, who's like proven that like their strongest role is like just one thing.
That's perfect for Jean Grey, though, because like Jean Grey that I know and love from the cartoon is either completely, utterly useless or the most powerful being in the universe. So for that, she fit perfectly.
Well, I'm just saying I didn't like her performance. I'm not saying.
No, you shouldn't. It's Jean Grey.
Okay. Oh, I see. I see.
Well, it sounds like we're giving this a C minus.
I'd throw it in. I don't know if I'd say minus. I don't hate this movie as much as a lot of people do, but I would give it a C, I guess. Yeah.
I'd give it a D, so give it a C minus.
Well,
Because the minus doesn't actually matter.
If we're balancing things out with Anthony's S, then we're going all the way.
But Anthony didn't give it an S for sure. He afterwards he was like, "That's why I'm giving it whatever you guys give it."
He said S for sure. I love the X-Men.
But then he said a different thing.
I will give it I will reveal the grade at the end of the show.
Okay.
Oh,
Moving on.
all right. Well, before we move on, let's take a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
I'm putting together a special team with special powers.
Sit up and take off those glasses.
That's cool. Wolverine. Manicure. Emma Frost. Ooh, shiny. Blob.
Come on, Bob, for old time's sake.
Why'd you call him Blob?
I didn't call him Blob, I said Bob.
Gambit.
Show off.
X-Men Origins. Wolverine. This film is not yet ready.
All right, we're back. Let's recap what we have so far. So we got Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, a C. Punisher Warzone, C. Fun. X-Men Origins, Wolverine, D. Ghost Rider: Spirit of Vengeance, an F. X-Men First Class, a B. The Amazing Spider-Man, a C. Men in Black 3, a B. Wolverine, a B. The Amazing Spider-Man 2, an F. X-Men Days of Future Past, an S. Fantastic Four 2015, F minus. Deadpool, B. X-Men Apocalypse, a C. And we're here. What do you guys think about the grade so far?
Sounds like we're doing good.
I think the next movie is gonna make my chest hurt because it's gonna go in the category with a different thing that shouldn't be there.
Oh, I don't know what that means, but we'll probably find out.
You're gonna find out in 2 seconds.
We're talking about the 2017 Logan.
This is an obvious S tier. Like this is the best one on the list. It is so much better than anything else on this list that the fact that there is anything else in the S tier hurts my chest.
I disagree with Daniel.
Oh, so you hate Logan? Okay, you guys heard it first. He hates Logan. Bury him.
Oh,
get him,
I
goons.
disagree with Daniel. I think we should actually create something higher than S tier. Daniel does not love this movie enough. But if he thinks it only deserves a mere S tier, I guess that's fine.
He's still asleep. He doesn't know what he's saying.
No, Logan's great. This movie's awesome. Everything about it.
It's a perfect film.
it's a movie, not a comic book movie. It's a movie.
Goddamn right.
Well, there's comic books in the movie, to be fair.
Sure.
Oh.
But it should be an Oscar-worthy movie.
Was it nominated for anything? Probably not. I imagine.
It got nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay.
Oh, cool.
And then they should have showed the clip of Professor X wheeling around yelling about Taco Bell commercials.
The new guys are right now from Taco Bell. Yeah, I was very happy to know that a movie with Caliban got nominated for like an award. I was pretty happy with that.
Stephen Merchant, Caliban, no less.
Yeah, which is great because Caliban was in Apocalypse, so like big times for Caliban.
Yeah, things are coming up, Millhouse. Great movie. Great
Small
ending.
cast.
Yeah.
It brought us Daphne Keane.
Yep.
She's going to be in a Star Wars show, so there goes that. Sorry, but she's great in this, which is awesome. And it's just a good send off for the character. It's very rare, and I guess this is where like all the Deadpool 3 talk comes in, right? Where it's like the reason people may be upset about this is because this movie serves as a really good send off for a character when we don't always get that. Like for someone who was playing a character for 17 years, we don't always get the chance to like write a finale, whether it's a TV show or a movie or whatever. You don't always get to say goodbye to them in such a meaningful way. So for this film to have a whole story about saying goodbye to this, comic book character, a guy with claws, like it's kind of crazy that we got to do that in such a meaningful way. So I'm someone that's like, I'm too old to like be upset about it anymore. Like it's just a movie. Movies happen, whatever. But like to me, this is the end of the X-Men. There's more X-Men movies on here, but Logan, like when she puts that, turns the cross into an X on his grave,
Oh my god.
that's the end of the X-Men right there.
Absolutely. I believe like a 20-year career of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. What can you say, man? He's the best.
What he does isn't pretty.
Ooh, well,
Good.
we'll give it an S for him. An S plus or just
S
an S?
plus, S plus.
S plus. Sounds,
No matter what
I like
Daniel
that.
might say, it belongs in S plus.
He's just not a fan of Richard E. Grant.
Yeah, I guess so.
I liked him. I like him. I like him as an actor. Who's that movie with Melissa McCarthy?
All right,
Yeah.
let's move on.
Yeah. All right. The next one is the 2018 Deadpool 2, and we mentioned it's the B.
Oh, yeah, same thing. B. Move on.
All right. I do hate the kid in the movie. I know he was in that one
No,
movie.
he does suck.
What?
Not
He was
enough to like
annoying. He was
change the
annoying.
grade of the movie, but he's really annoying.
It's funny.
He was,
No.
but it was annoying for me. A
Damn,
tad bit.
I wouldn't know. I haven't seen it.
You just hate New Zealanders or something.
No, I love
Y'all
Dakota
are
Kai.
racist. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, that's different. That doesn't count.
Ah.
Jesus.
So Skyler has deemed it, so it shall be.
All right. 2018
No,
Deadpool 2.
the reasons that he likes Dakota Kai are impure.
Not for this podcast.
Yeah.
Next movie.
2018 Deadpool 2 is a B. The next one here, oh boy. Here
S
is.
tier. S tier.
One second. We're talking about
B
the. We're talking about the 2018 Venom.
Boy, I feel embarrassed about this movie. Because like this was a time at this point, the X-Men were going to be a part of the Marvel universe. Like that was almost like a sure thing. It was like right around the corner. Even though we have one more X-Men movie, it was like we know it's going to come. So with Sony having the Spider-Man rights, I was like, we really need to have other people making movies. If we have every movie owned by the same people, then that's going to be a bad thing. Like we need that variety. We need that competition. So I was like, hey, maybe give Venom a chance. You don't know it's going to be bad. And I apologize for my words. Me
I
seeing
regret
this
my
film
words and actions.
led to it getting a sequel and so on and so forth. So I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said, let's give it a chance. I should have left that hype for the next film. But hey, we all
Started
make
that
mistakes. Hashtag give Venom a chance. Sorry about Venom. As they say in the film, I'm saying to you now, I'm sorry about Venom. It's a terrible film.
I don't know about terrible. I would say it's a not good film.
Well,
I would say it's terrible.
I say it's terrible as well.
Oh well, bro, you're just a hater.
What? No. Okay,
No.
I'll say this. When I was watching in the theater, I was with my brother. We were watching it, and the line where he said, "Oh, I was a loser in my planet." I looked at my brother and I was like, "Are you seeing this shit?" And we're like, "It's like, yeah, we're watching this movie." I'm like, "Oh man, what is this?"
Yeah, that sums it up really well. It's everything you thought about. Like, if you thought Venom was cool, if you thought Venom was scary, if you thought that Venom was a badass, I feel like you watch this movie and all those thoughts go away. You no longer think he's any kind of anything because it's like, I guess he is lame. I never thought Venom was lame before, but now I do.
Yeah. I feel like I still, because of this movie, kind of think Venom is lame. Like, I don't know that there's been, at least not in my, maybe Spider-Man 2, the video game, is the best example, but like pretty much every time we've seen Venom between this and now, I don't think I've cared for him. I might be wrong on that. I might be misremembering something.
Between this and now, 2018 and now?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's only been in Venom movies, so I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Apparently Venom's hard to do. He shouldn't be, because it's just like, make the goop do punch, and then like, but here we are.
It's a weird choice from the very beginning. You're starting this idea of like non-Spider-Man Spider-Man movies. That's already a weird decision, right? Then
Yeah.
you do it with like the character they've been trying to do for years. Avi Arad has thought that, Venom is one of the most popular Marvel characters ever, as he once said.
Yeah.
And it's like he's been done in media before. He was, in multiple Spider-Man cartoons. I would say most people would probably really like how he was done in Spectacular Spider-Man. That was a really good
Mhm.
version. There's
Mhm.
tons of comic book stories you can pull from. And they do pull from some stuff. You could argue the Lethal Protector miniseries from the 90s. Sure. Yeah, okay. But to what end? It's just like a weird, boring superhero film with a weird main character, and he fights another Venom at the end, and then the movie's over.
It's one of those movies which like you can create a whole subgenre of specifically comic book movies like this, where it seems like they just like filmed the entire movie in secret because they were embarrassed. Like
The
I
Sony formula.
I think we saw like one set photo when this movie was like being filmed, and it was just like him on the bike, and that was like it.
Right.
Same thing where it's just like Fantastic Four 2015, where it's just like, are they filming that yet? What do you mean they're done? They filmed it over a weekend in somebody's backyard. Yeah, it's I remember when this movie was coming out, before like the first trailer, where I was like, what if he doesn't even become full Venom in this? Like I felt that, you know what I mean? That kind of
Yeah.
Spoilers for later, that kind of Madame Webb thing. Like what if they're too embarrassed to actually have them do what they're supposed to do? But no, then the trailer he became Venom, and it's just like, well, I guess that's all you can ask.
I won't give this an F because it was goofy and silly and not good.
Yeah,
I won't give it an F. I'll give it. So we gave Punisher Warzone C fun. I'll give this a D fun.
okay.
Oh,
Defund the Sony.
I think
Oh.
the best argument. That's good. I think the best argument for giving this a D is because the other Venom is here and needs to go into a lower tier.
Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, this was probably a D, maybe like a higher D for me. Because I don't. Is this the best Sony? What's it called now? The Sony Pictures
Spumka.
universe of Marvel. Is this the best one of those?
I don't know. I've only seen this one, so I don't know.
I would say something else, but we'll get to that.
There's something still on this list.
No, you're a liar.
What's
You're
happening?
doing the gimmick.
What did I do?
We'll yell about it later. It's fine.
Okay. So 2018 Venom was a D plus fun. Is that good with everyone?
Sure.
I think it'll just average to about a D. Yeah.
Okay. The next one here is the 2018 Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, it's okay, I guess.
Whoa!
S tier.
I think
Yeah.
you'll find this is an S tier. This is, in my opinion, the best Spider-Man movie.
This is 5 out of 5 across the board in like every category.
Yeah, I really love this movie.
Except potentially, where it comes to mistreating your employees. I don't know how they were on this one.
Oh yeah.
Unclear, I guess.
Even harder.
Oh my. They were like, no, you should have seen it before. It was worse. No, but
they took the dogs out.
End result was a very, 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 very good movie.
It made me like Miles Morales as a character. I didn't really have much of an interest in the character beforehand, and they really made a movie that made me care about it in a way that I hadn't before, which was very impressive as a someone who's older into superheroes. When you're a kid, it's you absorb it like a sponge, but now it can be a bit more difficult. But this engaged me in every positive way that a movie could, and its style, its story, everything. It's perfect.
The only bad thing that came out about this movie, like not the movie itself, but like surrounding it, is that now you can't say Sony makes bad movies without somebody being like, and you're like, yeah, okay, you're right, but shut up.
No, they make bad live action movies, but not animated.
They've probably made bad animated ones too, but
they made the Emoji Movie.
Well,
no.
I think what happened was they just completely turned the movie over. They were like, "All right, you want creative control? It's a cartoon. No one's gonna see it anyways."
Yeah,
Like, I think that's what their thought process was. Like the studio mindset for every studio across the board is like, you got that pie? Well, let me put my fucking hand in it.
Yeah, and it's created a whole new world of animated films. I feel like we wouldn't have a lot of films we have today, whether they be stuff like the recent Puss in Boots or Ninja Turtles or any of that stuff, if it wasn't for the inventiveness of Spider-Verse. I think it's I guess it depends on how you look at it, but if someone sees a movie goes like, oh, it looks like Spider-Verse, like sure you can nitpick it and say like, no, it doesn't. It's got this and this and blah blah blah. But ultimately, I would take that as a positive because it's like, wow, it looks like a unique film that isn't the 3D Disney or Pixar style. Like,
exactly.
It's new.
That's like the biggest thing that makes me excited about it is that it's fucking changing the landscape of like, oh, we get to have things that look different.
Yeah, I mean, look what happened with Wish, right? Like Disney's last film. I don't think they accomplished it, but they did attempt to do something different. Visually, they tried to make it not look like Tangled and Frozen and the rest of the bunch. So even Disney is forced to try because of what Sony did, which is an amazing statement.
Yeah.
Great ass movie. Spider-Man.
Great ass movie.
Great ass movie.
Into Spider-Verse is an S. DC, if you're listening, make Batman Beyond like this, please.
I wouldn't complain.
I wouldn't either. The next one here is the 2019 X-Men Dark Phoenix.
Actually, it's just called Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, it's just called Dark
Oh, really? Oh, my bad.
But with a big
Phoenix.
X in it.
Put it with Elektra.
Yeah, this movie's trash.
Put it with Elektra. I don't want to see it again. I don't want to talk. I don't want to ever speak of this movie again after today.
There's one part. There's one part in the movie where Magneto, Michael Fassbender, was trying to hold the helicopter. It looked like he was taking a shit.
Well, there you go.
I don't think it's that bad.
S for shit.
Oh.
I think it's got things about it. There's far worse actual movies. I think it's the wrong place at the wrong time, and it's not a very good film. I don't ever want to watch it again. But ultimately, I think it Simon Kinberg, I'm sorry, dude. I think it's time to hang it up. You tried twice.
This was the movie. This was the movie where we finally dialed in. We're like, we have your number, Kinberg. We know. He was dodging Hollywood bullets for years.
Yeah.
And then they were like, all right, you know what? Kinberg, fucking direct this one. And then we all watched it with a microscope. We're like, nope, get out of here.
Kinberg is the reason a lot of that cast returned because they heard it was him directing and not Singer. The fact that he was attached to it is why Jennifer Lawrence returned for the film and why Jessica Chastain was in the film. Like, I guess he's a nice guy, but he doesn't make a good X-Men movie, sadly.
No.
So D or an F?
F.
Yeah.
F. Okay.
I don't hate it, but it's an F.
I only saw it once.
F for the line where Cyclops says, "I'll fucking kill you" or whatever. I don't remember.
Well, that's an A.
No, F. Fuck starts with
F for the fuck. Okay,
Yeah.
right.
That's, you know what? That's a good point.
There was no Wolverine cameo, right, in this one?
This was the first X-Men movie without any reference or shot of Wolverine. That's right.
Gotcha.
Ugh.
All right. Dark Phoenix is an X. Oh, not an X. An F.
X
All the way down. Just drop it down the alphabet.
The next one here is hopefully the last of these, is the 2019 The Men in Black International.
I didn't see this.
I didn't see
I
it.
also didn't see this. It's up to you, Abrar.
Yeah, so it's me, right? Okay, so we have Chris Hemsworth and Valkyrie from Avengers, of course, and Kumail as a small little alien. This movie's not good. It was kind of actually boring. It was 2 hours too long.
Whoa.
It's an
How
F
long
for
is
me.
it?
It's like at least 2 hours.
Hour 45.
It's an F, you
It was
said?
2 hours too long.
It's
It was
yeah,
2
it's
hours
enough. I do love Kumail, but he was probably the best part in this movie.
Isn't Emma Thompson in this? Doesn't she tie it together because she was in Men in Black 3?
Yeah, that she was towards the end of the movie.
Is Michael Jackson in it again?
No.
I don't think
I
so.
wish.
Which is weird because, like, okay, it's Men in Black International, isn't it? It's like we're the Men in Black in Europe or something.
Yeah, they
We're
went to
the-
different parts of the world.
and then someone is who's in charge over there?
I don't
Liam
remember.
Neeson?
Oh yes, he was. He was in the movie.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah, I forgot that he was in that.
Because Emma Thompson is in charge. She takes over for Zed because he's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Zed is dead, baby.
Yep. And then but she's English.
She is.
She's in the wrong country. She's
Well-
in charge of the wrong thing.
Well, Men in Black for me, international, is an F.
All right.
Okay.
The next
I
one
will-
here.
I will never watch it then.
Probably not.
No, watch it.
Why?
Why? You said it was boring.
Tell me why.
But you cannot judge a movie without watching it.
I will. F.
No, but
Okay.
you know what you can judge it off of?
What?
You can judge it by bad trailers.
Sure.
You can judge it by you and your soul not having any interest, and you can judge it by your peers saying, "No, this movie sucks." And all three of those things tell me not to watch this movie.
Unless it's Daniel.
Oh yeah, Daniel's yeah.
Objectively right and all things correct. Yeah.
If Daniel tells me something's bad, I have to go see it. Cause I'm like, oh, this one.
Skyler, Madame Web's really bad.
See, now
Oh,
he's
he
trying to
gotcha.
take advantage. He's
Oh.
trying to
All right.
4D chess me right now.
Got
and
his
I can't.
ass.
All right. Let's get into the next one here. It's the pandemic time, the 2020.
Yay!
When was this movie supposed to originally come out?
Oh
Like
man,
2019.
Like 6 years before this or something like that.
It was supposed to come out. Okay, so 2018, we were supposed to get Deadpool 2, Dark Phoenix, and New Mutants. Like we were supposed to get 3 X-Men movies in a year, and then that didn't
Yeah.
happen.
nope. COVID happened, and we're talking about the New Mutants.
I didn't see it.
I did.
I did too.
I also didn't. It's up to y'all. Okay. Here are questions I have. Was
Yeah.
Magic good in it? Because she's like one of my favorite like
No.
C tier
Well,
Marvel characters.
That's when you say is she good in it?
Well, she's Anya Taylor Joy, so she's like really talented. I know
She's
that.
Anya Taylor Joy, which means her performance is not terrible.
I
That
heard
was
her
good.
accent was bad.
Oh no.
Her, yeah, it was.
I mean, there's a quote that she said, "It's not a prison; it's a cage."
Yeah,
Or
she
something like that.
definitely said that.
Cool.
Oh, no, this is a fake movie. This
Mm.
is not a real movie, and I don't mean that in the sense of like, comic book movies aren't real movies because they're just popcorn, whatever. Go watch. No, this is like you would see clips of this in like a TV show of like we made a New Mutants movie, and this is what, and it's like no, it's not real.
I do like the approach of this movie because it's trying to be like a horror film, like a horror superhero
Well,
film.
It probably when they filmed it the first time, it was.
Yeah, this is a victim of like rewrites and reshoots and
they
all this
neutered
sorts
it.
of stuff.
It did.
Oh damn.
There was rumors at one point that Antonio Banderas was supposed to be Mr. Sinister in it. Like,
Yeah.
that's how like far away from the original concept that this movie got, I guess.
Mhm.
Charlie Stranger Things was in this, and who did he play?
Cannonball.
Ah.
He wears a hat.
Yeah, he launched himself into a wall and broke his arm.
Fair enough. Classic Cannonball.
I
It's
remember.
actually kind of funny. I don't know
Actually,
if
he
it
has
was
a really
supposed to
bad
be.
accent in this too. There's bad accents all over this movie.
I remember
Sounds like the movie's bad.
the dialogue towards the end of the movie was not good. I remember. No, it's not a good movie. But is it the worst?
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
It's
Tyler?
it's a special flavor of bad. Like I said, it doesn't feel real.
Mm.
It's
It doesn't help that it's a pandemic movie where no,
first
like a lot of those
AI
stuff don't feel
movie.
weird.
Yeah, we're in a weird place during that time.
The
I won't give it an F. I'll give it a D minus.
I'll give it an F.
You give it an F? Oh man, who's the
Yeah.
decider here?
But not. I don't know. I feel like a lot of stuff that's been put in F so far has been put there with malice.
Sure.
Like this is awful. Get it out of here. This is awful and get it out of here. But I'm not like angry about it. I'm just like I feel bad this exists. Like like if you hit an animal with your car and you're like I have to mercy kill this thing. I'm mercy putting this in F.
The animal is the X-Men franchise, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
For some
Yeah.
reason, that feels worse.
It died a death here in 2020.
How about F plus?
What?
No.
No, just
Close
put
enough.
it in F. It's fine.
All right. 2020. The New Mutants was an F. The next one here is the 2021 Venom. Let there be carnage.
I guess
Also,
at one point
F.
I stopped seeing movies. I didn't see any of these.
I saw this one much later on streaming, and I wish I hadn't. Also, F. Very bad.
Huh.
What did we give the first Venom?
We
D
gave it a
for
D.
them.
This one has to be a tier below. I don't think I can understand an argument for it being on par.
Oh, well, then I won't argue. I'll just let it happen. I think everything with Venom in this is similar, like in quality to the first one. It's a bit dumber,
Yeah.
but it was dumb to begin with. I think where this movie really slips into F is, I guess, everything to do with the
Woody
Carnage.
Oh, yeah.
And considering that people at least pretend to like Carnage, and his name is in the title,
He's gonna let there be.
probably should have done it better. They fixed his hair a bit. It doesn't look great, but it
That's
looks
true.
better than the wig at the
post-credit
end
scene,
of the
or whatever it
post-credit
was.
scene.
Woody Harrelson. I'll give this. I'll give this a. No, I have to think about this because there's some there. It's a movie.
real sword.
It's a movie. So it's a bad movie, but it's funny to watch, I guess. Especially the part where Venom or Tom Hardy trying to be Venom, and he's like, "No, I don't want to be Venom," and then he saw Carnage, and he's like, "Oh yeah!" So I like that part.
What, man?
Yeah,
I don't.
basically.
But doesn't he only say "Oh yeah" in the trailer? I don't remember him doing that in the movie. In
No,
that part.
he did in the movie.
I don't. Okay.
I also
Doesn't
don't
Venom
remember.
go to a rave?
Yeah.
You did. Yeah. Oh yeah, you did.
He goes without Eddie. He leaves Eddie behind. And he's like, "I'm getting away from you, asshole!" And he just slowly, kind of like, starts to kill people as he takes over their bodies one at a time.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I'm glad I did watch.
I
it.
look forward to Insomniac Games doing a much better Carnage, hopefully soon.
Oh yeah.
Oh
just
yeah.
like Venom. Oh yeah. Venom's catchphrase. Oh yeah.
It is after this movie.
I'm Venom now. Oh yeah. I'm Venoming.
Oh,
There's gonna be Venom.
But okay. I'll give it F for fun.
Okay, sure.
Sure.
F fun. Okay.
What do you mean? You didn't have fun with this. You didn't like this.
I didn't hate it. I was like, oh, this is a bad movie, but let
You
me
need
just
You need to
enjoy
pick a
the.
lane,
I don't agree with your methods, but
No, let
goddamn,
me
you get the
enjoy-
work done.
Let me enjoy the one-liners here, and that'll be fine.
Sure.
All right. The next one here is the 2002. Oh, sorry, not
No.
2002.
Sometimes it
Uh,
does
the-
look
We went
alright.
back so far.
Sometimes. The 2022 Morbius.
Classic film. Didn't see it.
Oh man.
Did you actually not? Oh, this one was
No.
such a meme for so long. I thought you would have been forced to out of like self pity or something.
That's the thing. I've learned to not watch comic book movies I don't want to see. You know, like there was a time in my life I felt the need to see all of them, and now I've reached a point where I go, you know what? I'm just gonna watch a good movie instead, and
Yeah.
I'm happy to be in this era in my life.
I like it. I like that.
Oh, I thought you were saying I like Morbius.
No.
I did see this. In fact, I saw it in theaters.
Me too.
Did we see it together?
No, I went with my brother because I like Spider-Man villains. My brother really likes Spider-Man villains, so we were like,
Mhm.
"Oh, there's a Morbius movie. Let's go check this out." But like, it wasn't. There was no hope going in. Like, I think perception on this turned as soon as they announced Jared Leto as Morbius. Now, I'm not saying that is the definitive reason it's bad. He's really bad in this movie.
Yeah.
But like, you know, a good script wouldn't have gone astray here. They didn't have one.
I think due to social media and how memeable it is, we forget that it's we were enjoying it because it was memeable.
My favorite thing about this movie is that it proves that corporations are completely out of touch because they got gaslit into putting it back into theaters.
Right.
It's Morbin time
That's
tricked
the
them
coolest
into
thing
putting
ever.
it back, and then nobody saw it again.
No.
That's awesome.
Uh,
No, this movie's not good, man.
Why are we talking about it? It's Morbius. Like, we all know it's this big, stupid movie.
Yeah, it's really bad.
there's a line where he says, "I am Venom." Just joking.
That's true. That sure was in the movie. F though.
Uh,
Pulling
yeah.
out for Matt Smith, who was tricked into being in this. He thought he was going to be in an MCU movie.
He was kind of
Yeah,
funny in this.
that keeps
on
happening.
accident, I think, but still.
Especially the dance scene he did.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Again, I don't know if it was supposed to be, but it was.
All right, so I feel like we're giving it an F for Morbius.
Yep.
Yeah, big time.
All right. The next one here is the 2023 Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
An oasis in the desert. My God.
Yeah.
Movie.
It's like, it's still probably an S. I think it's like, I don't know, a fraction of a degree lower in my heart than the first one of these.
I
but it's still
agree
really
with
good.
you.
Sure.
I agree with you here.
Yeah, like the ending thing, it doesn't bother me as much as it bothered the internet, but it does bother me a little bit, where it does kind of feel like, I don't know, because the way it ends off, it feels abrupt in a way that's unsatisfactory, but also it's like, I feel like we asked 100 questions and didn't answer any. It's basically like your average season of Lost. But the difference being that I enjoyed the whole time that I was watching this one, and then got to the end and I was like, well, nothing really was resolved, but that's fine. Like, I still love this movie, but I agree that there are issues with specifically the pacing of it.
Yeah, I think it being essentially a part one movie
Yeah.
is fine if you follow certain protocols, such as you got to put out the next movie like the next year.
Mhm.
Like the last two Harry Potter movies, like that was like a year apart, or like a summer apart. It was
November, December. That's what
Yeah,
it was.
there you go. It was like half a
2010 to
year.
2011.
And then Infinity War and Endgame, that was only 1 year apart. This one and also Mission Impossible fell for this too. They're like, we're doing a part one thing.
And they changed their mind.
But then they it got pushed back. So it's like, oh well, now I have to wait further for the conclusion. But you know what? At least Spider-Man was smart enough not to put part one in their title, because then they tricked everyone to go see it, and then everyone
That did cause a backlash though, because the people went into that not knowing that it was a part one, versus people that are terminally
People were
online.
Outwardly upset in my theater.
Ooh.
Because I didn't know that it was a part one when I went to go watch it.
I don't think anybody did.
And so the
What?
to be continued thing popped
Well, I
up,
didn't.
and I was like, really? Because it felt kind of unsatisfying, because I was like, it was right in a scene where I was like, I was super hooked, and I'm like, yes, this is a really great way to do like a cliffhanger, but also if the other end of this cliff is going to be multiple years off, it's like, bro, why are you doing this to me?
I mean, I really don't mind it, to be honest. I don't care. I thought the cliffhanger was great. It made me really excited for the future. I guess I did know that it was a part one. I guess it helps knowing there was going to be another one in general. So I was genuinely shocked to see just how much of a cliffhanger it was. I feel like we don't get movies like that ever.
Yeah.
Like, Infinity War was like the last one, but we don't usually get just sort of like a boom. You have to find out what happens next. I was genuinely shocked by that.
Well, and I do think part of that is because most times when it's a part one, part two, there's still like a conclusion to the movie, whereas this one felt like it just kind of ended, which does feel very episodic, like almost television style. And I feel like that's kind of where the time gap becomes an issue for me.
But I was fine with the sort of the big climactic fight. Like, that was a satisfying sort of set piece of Miles on the run from all these different spider people and like successfully evading them. That was enough of a victory for me, at least, where it was like this whole point where he was like trying to be a part of this group, and then he successfully managed to outsmart every other Spider-Man in the entire multiverse. It's like, wow, he really is like, and no pun intended, the ultimate Spider-Man. So then to almost like pull the rug out from under that situation and be like, oh, now you're in a worse situation than you could possibly imagine. Here's this evil version of you, almost like this this other version of you gives a reason for them to be scared of you in the other place. Like that really hooked me in a way that I guess I just appreciate it for taking such big swings. Like Into the Spider-Verse made such a comfortable world, as wacky as it was, with multiple Spider-Man and different styles and all these things. And this one really took that concept and pushed it to a limit I wasn't really sure with. And I think it does help being a Spider-Man fan if you're like familiar with this world and the way it plays with that fan expectation. You know, they really dig into this idea of like the meta, what it means to be Spider-Man. It's like, oh, everyone's got this like, you know, dead cop character and everyone has this like moment where they have to do this. It's like, oh shit, you're right. Like that, yeah, that is part of what being Spider-Man kind of is. So to sort of divert from that, I think that's where the movie really excels. So ultimately, all those different pieces, it makes a very unique movie-going experience. And I think that's why I haven't really watched it since, because I don't know if I can recreate that theater experience from the first time.
Yeah, like with like Avengers, Endgame, Infinity War, you don't want to recreate that.
I think small, very small, like not enough to like really affect it, but parts of this that kind of fall flat are its attempt to connect to live action stuff, like putting in the
Donald Glover,
live action Donald Glover in this little homemade Prowler suit, and showing the lady from Venom.
Oh yeah,
I feel like this is not necessary. Like I know that you want to like show that we're connected to all. We're doing a big old Marvel multiverse thing together right now, but this can be its own thing.
Do you think Miles should have like immediately vomited when he saw Childish Gambino? Like just seeing that type of person from what he's used to. Do you think he should have just like lost it?
Actually, yeah. I mean, he's not. He's a human form, not a cartoon.
What's going on? They should have handled it exactly like the Timmy Jimmy Power Hour.
No, I mean,
thank you.
That's a thing people have said many times in this life.
Two-dimensional and three-dimensional people can coexist. I mean, look at Space Jam, Who Framed Roger Rabbit. We can get along together.
Wolverine and his claws in that bathroom.
Yeah, exactly. All iconic characters. It's I don't think I had a personal problem with that. It was funny leading into this, seeing that like the Spectacular Spider-Man, the Josh Keaton like version of the character was like teased to being in it. He was like on a poster and people spotted him in the thing. And then like here he is, and like I understand why they did it, but he's like 5 feet tall compared to everyone else. And it was just like, well, the art style and the proportions, it would look weird if he was like the same height as everyone. But it is funny where it's like Wolverine-sized Spider-Man walks up and he's like talking. It's supposed to be like this amazing moment of like, oh my God, it's the fan favorite cartoon version. And he looks like a child, which I guess he is a child. So I guess it works out in that regard. But there is a lot of love for Spider-Man stuff. And I think there's that part of my Spider-Man fan brain that does connect with that type of fan service. Fan service is very difficult nowadays because it can feel very cheap and very hollow, but there's stuff in this where it does feel like a genuine sort of like call out to Spider-Man fans. You know, when they put in Typeface as one of the villains that they've captured in this interdimensional thing, you're like, holy shit. Like I live in a world where Typeface was in a Spider-Man movie before. You know, like it's like that old joke of like we got a Rocket Raccoon movie before we got Wonder Woman. It's like
they made the Spot cool. Well, maybe not.
They made the Spot into a credible villain. Like, that's wild to me.
Who does Avi Arad have dirt on that they let him take the credit for that?
Everyone. It's Avi Arad.
That wizard's just a crazy old man.
It's the only other thing that I want to say about this is this is one of the only movies where I think they do the cameo thing good. I think because the cameo thing never really does much for me. I'm not the guy who's like, look, it's that guy. He's back. Wow, cool. Like that's never been a thing that I cared about unless it was in service to the plot. And this does that, and it does it very well. There's a lot of it, and most of it goes over my head where it's like, that one's a car and that one's a dinosaur. And I'm like, all right, well, that's like a cool bit, but I don't know the reference that it's bidding off of. But I think this and the most recent live action Spider-Man do, well, this one better than that, but do a good job of making these like cameos, this multiverse thing, actually play into the plot in a way that matters. Where I feel like so many of the other things in this like time period of everything has to be a multiverse has just been like, here's that guy, you like him, right? Clap now. I'm like, I don't know, fucking
Star Wars, you mean?
yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem with something like Doctor Strange, you know, whether you like or dislike that movie or whatever, most people are going to walk away from it thinking about like the Illuminati scene, which is just one scene in a movie, you know,
Yeah.
like you're going to be distracted. Like I said, no matter what your opinion is of that film. And it's kind of the era that we live. Obviously, there's word of Sony wanting to kind of break away from Disney yet again, and they want the next Spider-Man movie to also be another, you know, Toby Andrew thing, because like the last one made $1 billion, so let's do it again. It's like it can't be stopped.
I was tired of the multiverse like immediately.
Yeah.
And this movie was the one thing where I was like, okay, it has merit, but I'm still kind of done with it.
Yeah, if you want to compare it to Star Wars, it's like this one is like The Empire Strikes Back with that cliffhanger.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of the sort of middle part being like this dark question mark for sure.
Yeah. Do we give it an S or an A?
I'm fine with either.
Yeah, that's like I don't know. One of those two, definitely. Like
What else is
it's
in
a
A?
really good movie. What else is in A, Abrar?
Yeah, what's like one other thing we put in A?
An A. Let's see. And nothing.
Yeah, I was right.
Okay, well then let's put this in there just so that there's something there.
Holy hell!
Yeah.
Because Madame Webb's not going in there, so
wait.
something oughta.
So it's like most of the ones we've gone through today, are they all like D or below?
We were very negative on a lot of this list.
I'm counting right now. I have 7 Fs.
Wowzers! Well, guess what? We're gonna throw in another one
There's
before
gonna
we're
be one
done.
more.
Well, we'll
baby.
see.
I mean,
We'll see.
I don't know because I haven't seen it. But
Oh, will we see? All right.
We'll see. Well, the last one on this list here is it just came out this year. The 2024 on Valentine's Day, Madame Webb.
Abrar,
Yeah.
go ahead and get on your little soapbox and take
tell
a
me.
moment to tell your audience why you messaged us and said that your prediction was that Madame Web would save the box office.
Oh, no, I didn't say that. This is what I said. I said Madame Web will save the MCU and the box office.
Oh.
Because
So-
it's so bad.
More than what you said.
Wait, no, I
grander.
can save this. It's because it's so bad that it'll force Sony to sell the Spider-Man back to Marvel. So we'll finally
I was thinking the
stop
other way.
getting these.
No, I was thinking the other way. But
What?
yeah, that was my prediction. Predictions can be wrong too. Yeah. So this movie here, man, oh man, it's
This movie was with my mom in the Amazon before she died. So I'm sorry, someone had to do the bit.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I would say it, but I would mess it up. So this movie's not good, but I had fun while they were playing Britney Spears' "Toxic" while they were dancing on the table. But other than that, the villain had bad ADR. What else is bad? Dakota Johnson does not care about being Madame Web. She's playing herself. It's not okay. I'm sorry. It is a terrible movie, but it's not that bad. I think it's the best Sony Spider-Man.
No, you don't.
So I ranked this. I ranked Madame Web, and then Morbius, and then Venom. No, sorry. Madame Web, Venom, Morbius, and then Venom 2. That's how I ranked them.
Well, I agree with 3 of the 4 of those. Madame Web, I guess I haven't seen.
I mean,
So,
yeah, I don't
but-
want to act hyperbolic, but like this, I don't want to watch this movie.
I mean, I know it's bad, but you think it's the worst one?
I haven't
couldn't
seen
tell
it.
you. We haven't seen it.
I'm not going to probably. I just found out from IMDb that Emma Roberts is in this as I don't know if it's a spoiler to say actually.
No, no one cares. If
Yeah.
you're listening to this, you've either already seen it or you don't care.
So she's playing Mary Parker, who is I assume
Yeah.
Pete's mom.
Yeah, she.
Yeah.
Well, Abrar, throw out the full spoiler thing and run down what happens with Mary Parker in this movie.
He's
All
not
right,
gonna do
so Dakota Johnson was invited to a birthday shower, and
Baby
Emma Roberts. Sorry, yeah. Basically, everyone was in the same room, and then they're playing a game called guess the baby's name, and
What a game!
Oh, okay.
and
And it's Pete though, right? Obviously.
so they never said Pete.
Okay.
She was
Come on,
interrupted
dude. Like, we know
by
where we're
Adam
at.
it. Or
Scott.
Peter, which is his name.
That's
They never
true.
said the
Yeah,
name,
true.
but we assume that it is Peter. Yeah, that's it. And then they did
Ben
this
is excited
weird.
about being an uncle, right?
That's not it. She gives birth in this film, does she
Yeah,
not?
She did.
No, Peter
Um,
Parker is born in this movie, Daniel.
Do we see his little baby hand and it does the thwip? It
That
does like
would've
the
been
thwip position.
Oh, like it. That's not to be.
He
crass,
comes out
like,
rocking.
That's how it comes out. Like that's
Yeah.
the first thing.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
hand?
The hand plunges forward in the little thwip.
Whip at the
His hand
ready.
comes out, and they play like a Tom McGuire audio clip. He's like, "Hey, stop the bus!" His little hand comes out.
No, it being a Sony Pictures of Marvel, whatever the fuck it's called. The little hand would come out. It would do the Spider-Man thwip. You would hear a clip of Tobey Maguire, but then it would play the Amazing Spider-Man theme song.
Well,
I love that.
Pulled them all in like a deck of cards.
yeah. So, like, Abrar, do you think that this could possibly be folded into the MCU? Like, could they make Adam
Yeah.
Scott the MCU Uncle Ben?
So
Ooh.
this was filmed. So this takes place in 2003. If you're trying to connect it with the Tom Holland Spider-Man, it could happen.
Now, this is interesting because years ago, when Spider-Man Homecoming was coming out, 2017.
I think so.
Yeah.
Marissa Tomei was Aunt May, as we know, and I kept saying like, okay, well then, who? The answer was they don't care and they're never going to show him. But I kept saying like, okay, well, who was young, sexy Uncle Ben then? who could play young, sexy Uncle Ben? And I said the guy, I don't remember his name, Andy something maybe, who played David Wallace on The Office. I was like, he could be Uncle Ben.
Because he was in Jurassic
He's
World.
gonna be in it for a second, and then he's gonna get shot. You know.
Uncle Ben.
But then I guess the answer was Adam Scott, and you know what? That's a good answer. If only it was in a good movie.
I like
Yeah.
Adam Scott.
Overall, it's not a good movie, but I just saw it on Valentine's Day, so I have to say on record, Madame Webb was my Valentine.
You've said that many times
Yes.
on many records.
You texted to me unprompted the other day.
I did. My personal opinion, I will give this a D.
Oh, that's great. But you remember how we all said Dolph Lundgren Punisher was F because we hadn't seen it?
Oh,
We're all
right,
doing
we
that
did.
here, so it all balances down to F.
But I've seen it.
Yeah, that's great, but we all say it's an F.
All right.
There you
Well,
go. Sorry, those are the rules.
I can't fight it. I can't fight that.
No,
That's
you
true.
can't.
No one makes the rules.
All right, let's recap what we
Anarchy.
had. Let's recap what we had so far here. It's so Logan was an S plus D. Deadpool 2 was a B. Venom was a D. Fun. Venom.
What order are you doing this in here?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just
I'm
'cause-
going.
Well,
so
you
started-
skipped Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which we put in A.
Where did we leave off the first time around?
No, I'm going from the commercial break. From
Okay,
Logan.
when was that?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was okay. That was. You're right. Then, excuse me. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Let me recap again. Logan was a S plus. Deadpool 2 was a B. Venom was a D. Fun. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was an S. Dark Phoenix was an F. Men in Black International an F. The New Mutants an F. Venom Let There Be Carnage F. Fun. Morbius an F.
Get that fun off of there.
Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, an A, and Madame Webb, an F. So we have 8 Fs, and let's see here. 1, 2, 3. Three S's and 8 Fs in this part 2.
Wow,
Good movies.
what a great time to be alive.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on the next? Because we didn't rank Craven because that hasn't come out yet. But for the next,
You want it real quick? We can rank it.
No, I mean,
I can take a pretty good guess.
Yeah.
I'll get an D for Russell Crowe. But what's y'all's prediction for the next Marvel movies? The next 10 years? What's gonna happen?
You're asking what are they gonna make?
Or what's
do you
the
want me?
consensus of if it's gonna be a good or bad movies if it's not part of the MCU?
I think they're gonna make at least 3 S's and probably somewhere around 8 F's.
Well, we have to assume there'll be one S because there's going to be the other Spider-Verse, so that one will be good.
Yeah, we've reached a point where everything sucks. So I don't know.
Honestly, I don't even really look at the spum or things that they have announced because I think at one point they announced 30 movies and then canceled half of them. I couldn't be bothered to remember what is still existing.
You know what, Abrar? Here's my question for you.
Oh,
When the Sony universe, Sony Spider-Man universe, plows forward and forces their Sinister Six movie, which doesn't even have Spider-Man in it.
yeah.
Who will be the Sinister Six? Who are your 6 guys?
Oh,
Actors or the characters?
Characters.
Both. Characters and the actors that play them.
So we got Rhino, Paul Giamatti.
Oh, we're bringing him back.
No, there's
bringing
a
back-
Rhino in Craven movie. It's a different guy.
No, well, they can have 2 rhinos.
Oh,
The
Or
Sinister Six can have
TW?
2 rhinos.
Just
We'll
2
have-
rhinos. with 2 peppers.
the Sinister Four and their 2 rhinos.
We'll have 2 Green Goblins, Dane Han and Willem Dafoe.
Wow. I regret asking you this question.
Yeah, wait, are these all part of the spums technically?
Sure.
It doesn't matter. Whatever. Finish. Go ahead. 2 more.
Don't forget El Muerto, but not played by Bad Bunny.
No, he's not. I'll put 2099 Spider-Man in there. Why not? And
Not even okay.
The animated character.
The cartoon one.
and let's put Doc Ock. Let's put him back in there.
You didn't say.
Okay.
I don't know if you said a single actual spum character.
So no Venom, no Morbius, and no Madame
Yeah.
Webb.
Definitely not.
And no,
You tell-
no
Tell me
Vulture
no
who's here apparently.
Michael Keaton, who they're forced to
No Craven. Yeah, the only one from Craven is
is the second Rhino.
the second Rhino, and then every
That's
other
true, that's
character is
true.
from the previous film.
Yeah,
That's
so
my
we got
Sinister Six.
Paul Giamatti,
right.
Paul Giamatti Rhino, the Craven movie Rhino.
Wait, how's that gonna work? Aren't they all
the-
anti-heroes in this version?
The Sony,
Sure.
the PlayStation Spider-Man Rhino,
Yes.
an actual Rhino.
No, I think he's dead.
Well, allegedly.
Allegedly.
An actual Rhino.
Yeah, yeah. He died.
The actual Rhino from
was
Across
a-
the Spider-Verse.
It was a drug overdose.
Oh my god.
Oh, don't forget that silhouette of a rhino from No Way Home.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Sure. The
And then-
Rhino from Spider-Man 2, the video game for PS2.
And Rhinoc from Beast
Ooh.
Wars.
Rhinox. Yeah, sure.
That's 7 total. So that makes perfect sense for their Sinister Six movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of Spider-Man, we did our episode of the Amazing Spider-Man 2 PS5. All the suits there. There's an episode for that. Just check out that. And let me wrap this up here. Skyler, where can they find you in the socials?
Socials nowhere, but I'll be seeing Craven the Hunter later this year, I guess.
Why?
Me too. Me too.
Probably not in theaters.
Oh, okay.
In theaters for
I'll
me.
watch it. I'll watch it on Christmas morning.
Ooh,
I will hold you to that. And I know you're gonna see it. We've already been over it. Russell Crowe.
definitely. Daniel, where can they find you?
On Twitter at Daniel J McG, at my YouTube channel Daniel McG, or I don't know, anywhere else. I don't care. Apparently,
Cool.
I have an Instagram that keeps getting hacked, even though I never made one. Try and find me there.
Please. And then Anthony, how about you, man?
You can find me at Anthony Lantern on any social, generally speaking. I also have a YouTube channel called Anthony Reviews, where Anthony reviews. And I also have a podcast called The Grud, where I talk about films and various things. So feel free to check that out.
That sounds amazing. And of course, you can follow this podcast and listen to this podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Apple Podcasts. I have an Instagram page called the Brown Boy Wonder Podcast. Follow me there, and yeah, and I guess I'll end this by saying, watch Days of Future Past.
No, you should end this by saying, "Oh yeah."
Okay. On 3, 2, 1. Oh yeah.
I'm glad you counted down for us.
Yeah.